All right, we got to get back working on our forever slow project here because, yeah, we're not making any progress and we need to. And we'll get on that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, Ross the Oliver Man, 200 Allis-Chalmers. We are trying desperately to get this done for this guy. It's just the way life has happened the last few months. It's caused me great delay in getting this done for him. And now it's bitterly and miserably cold. Like, I would much rather be sitting inside, but we're going to do this now that somebody else is messaging me to get something done. That's too bad. All right, so in the last installments we were messing with fuel lines, and we got fuel lines put under everywhere they need to go and routed up here, brand new. I just want to tie them together to kind of finish that up. And the question has been answered that many people were asking, as well as myself not really understanding. You remember how the fuel line was like wrapped around those oil lines underneath, and then it went into this little gizmo here, which I said I had not seen before? Well, guess what? That's because that's probably the only tractor that has that on it. And the story goes as such. This tractor was used for feeding cattle, which is what the son now does with it too. But they had a tremendous amount of cattle and they fed every day. So the dad was going back to about the farthest end of his farm on a cold, miserable winter day, even more miserable than it is today because the snow was flying and whatever. And the fuel gelled up and the tractor died. So he called the dealer. So the mechanic, a couple of mechanics from the dealer went, and one of them's the one that told me this story about all this, so now I can tell you. And he said it was miserably cold, terrible, windy. He said they would take turns, the two of them, working. One of them would work for 10 or 15 minutes and then go sit in the truck, and the other one would take over. And they worked all day out there trying to get it to run again so he could get going. And they mixed in additives that they could get, which back in those days probably were not nearly as good as the additives we have today. And they tried everything, put a little gasoline in and mixed in, and they could get it running for a minute and then it would die. And then they'd get it running again and then it would die. And they got it going, and it run, unloaded it, fed for the day and however else. And I don't know what he did to make sure that it would run the next day, but so their plan was, I guess, that is partially why that was wrapped around there. He put hose inside a hose, and they tried to tie it to stuff that would get warm to try to keep it from freezing up again. So that's how the fuel hose got all wound around things, because they were trying to come up with some way to keep the fuel from gelling up again. So then some days later they ordered this thing, and he couldn't remember even what it's called or where they got it or how they even found out about it. But what that little gizmo does is it takes the return fuel from the engine, which should be warmer, and it mixes it in this little round chamber with the fuel that's coming out of the tank. So all your fuel return and the delivery to the motor all goes into that canister, and then somehow magically, you see it is supposed to help mix and keep the fuel warm. I personally don't know how much good that could really do, other than it would keep the fuel in the lines maybe warm, because I would still think you'd have a risk of the fuel gelling as it came out of the tank, but it must have worked. And that's why that's on there, and that's why it was the only one like that, and why it was so difficult. But I thought that was neat that They actually saw the video and said, hey, we know what that's for, and then told me the story about why it was the way that it was. So, hooray. Now, that takes us to up here. We got that in settled with his fuel leaks, but now we got problems here. You see, this is all leaking. It's nasty. I suspect that the trouble is no more than just this filter, because let's face it, nobody ever changes this filter. It's covered up by the panel. And so I'm hoping that the O-ring or something, it might even be the seal around where the filter is made, has went bad and it's leaking. So we're going to change out both of these, and I got a new primer button because, as you may or may not recall, if I can get this off of here real quick, when we went to plunger it, we're sucking air and we're puking fuel, and that ain't good for nobody. So we can do several things. This was not cheap here, this little plunger. You'd think that would be 20 bucks, and it used to be, but not anymore. Now it's like 100. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And you see how it comes. It comes with the rubber end made on the plunger, and then the seal for the out thing. What you do is just take this out of these holes, your little bail, I guess, as you would call it. It's probably the same terminology as like sediment bowls, but but you take that off, and then you pull the whole shebang out of there, and then you pull the whole shebang out of there. It's not wanting to work for me. There we go. You can see that's pretty well wore off there. So we'll gently put that back in there. A retaining ring goes on there. It's miserably cold, friends. It's miserably cold. Now, can we get that in there? Now, we got us a primer button that pumps up and doesn't leak. That will be important in a minute, as we'll need to pump and fill those filters again. I need to get a rag because I'm covered with diesel fuel now again. All right, let's start with this one, which is my suspected problem. Oh boy, that's been on there a while. I would say that is the source of my leaking. That is dry and brittle and not very good shape. So we're going to hope that that's the case. Pour this in a bucket here. It's sitting here. I'm not relieving myself. I'm relieving the filter. Trying to make everything the right way. But see, really there's nothing that could we're gonna hope that that seals up. I don't like that really well there. Gotta use a little bit of caution here because this is, I believe, just a block of aluminum, so you can't get too aggressive with any scraping or cleaning. But I did have to get some of that off of there because I don't feel like that was the right thing. Oh geez, now the wind's gonna start, and it's just miserable, people. It's just miserable. Alright. Let's get that hooked in there. Oh, that doesn't seem right, does it? Maybe it is. Oh dear. Why is it not? There. Okay, there's one. I might have to go in the house and get some gloves. There we go there. Yeah, these haven't been changed for ages. You can just tell. So this is not wasted effort, is what I'm saying. I mean, this one doesn't have a pin, so you gotta kind of just use your imagination. And hope for the best. Are we hooked in the center? Yeah. All right. Now, lots of pumping. I think we can fill them. Maybe I should have done the one before we... There it comes. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that or not? That it's filling up over here? I can never tell what you can see. But it is, in fact. We're filling the top one. In a minute we'll fill the lower one. There we go. We're starting to get some resistance. I hear tank recirculating. There we go. There we go. That ought to run. If not, we'll give it a few more pumps later. You know, when I can feel my fingers again. God, night it's go. All right. We're going to hope and hope and hope that that takes care of our bad situation we had over here, because it's coated. It's coated with fuel where it's been leaking, and when I power washed it, it came right back and it was immediately coated again. And so I can't have that. We gotta have it better than that. All right, well, where do we stand here? I want to use a little bit of the old magician's friend here. My pal and yours, brake clean. And try to dry some of this up so we can potentially see. Gotta be careful though, because it does eat paint. But it is just so dirty. And it's still so dirty. All right, we'll wait with that. We'll let that do its thing. I thought, or had thoughts, of replacing this. However, I don't know that I have any more of that fuel line left. I thought that I did. I thought I had another, a little end, which would have been perfect for that. But I am not seeing that here, so what happened? Does anybody remember? Did we use it all up? I thought I had an end that I sawed off when I did that last return line. Well, I found this, but I don't think this is the same as what I was using, but I don't think it makes a difference. This is still fuel hose, it says on there. But it's kind of puzzling where in the world that last little bit would have went, because I was thinking it was just exactly the right length, kind of. It wasn't going to be useful for much else. So, oh, there, I see it. I laid it on top of the tire. So that gives me two choices here. But I think I'm going to go ahead and replace that on the injection pump. I'm going to try to, this is what I'm talking about. I feel like while we're here, we should probably just go ahead, because that's probably not been replaced since that original day. Yeah, see, I think this is a good idea as well. I mean, we're not out anything except time and patience. Let's see here. This piece actually would probably be exactly what we want. Jeez, it's cold. I know you northern boys are laughing, but I just don't like the cold at all. I mean, this is not my weather. So I'm just gonna clamp this down. There, that's down. That's about the exact right length too. So I'm just going to leave it. We'll get this off of there, swap the clamp, and I'll feel a lot better about this. Oh man. All right. Alrighty, friends. I think we're gonna be fine. The only thing is, it's so cold I bet it won't start. I'd love to hear it run and check it for leaks, which we can try. But I hope you're still recording. You just took another clobber. I'm gonna have to set you down though while I try to start it. I'll just let you look up there. I'm sure it's not gonna start because it's too cold, but we'll give her a shot. Maybe we'll give her a shot. Oh, we won't. I guess my battery cable's not participating. Well, shiza. Okay. Let me figure out why that just happened. But I lost all my power. I'm getting nothing. Now why is that? Come on, tractor. Jeez. I tell you. I guess it was wishful thinking, wanting to hear it run, because for some reason now it's not making any connection at all. Did we take loose a bolt that was connected to the ground cable? I don't remember. No. But I'm getting nothing out of these batteries. I did for a second, and then I didn't. When I turn the key, I should hear stuff happening, and I don't. So why is this? Oh. It's just too cold to run. It just doesn't want to do it. And I'm having a hard time wanting to participate as well. But we got to get it done. We got to. I just can't put it off anymore, no matter how miserable I am doing this. It's got to be done. So, boy, that is just nasty, isn't it? It makes me want to start it up and run it, take it up there and try to wash that all off out of this hole we couldn't get to. I might have to do that before we're done, but it don't look like it's going to start today just because it's so cold. I'm having all kinds of electrical issues. It just doesn't want to run, but it has to. We're going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to clean up everything really well. We're going to have to take our battery pack here and charge it up because it is not participating anymore. All right, so we're going to table starting it up again because, yeah, life happens, you know. We're going to do some more work back here. And one thing I thought I would do, I've got this hose clamp here, which I don't know where I lost it, but I think there should be 2 on this return hose up under here. So I might try to put that on, but mainly what I think I'm going to try to do is get these arms off so we can replace the seals in the rock shaft this time right away before he ever leaves. However, I'm afraid of a few things. Number A thing I'm afraid of, well, I can't find my fancy snap ring remover jobby, which it might actually be in the back of that from the last time we did that one. I think I threw it in there, so I'll look in that. But I can get those off with screwdrivers if I have to. What I'm worried about is this one, I'm fairly certain I'll be able to pull this arm off. This one, not so much. I'm kind of worried. It doesn't appear to have much free play movement, and that could be very much bad because that could mean that it ain't coming out of there. And so, what to do, friends, you know? It would really help if they weren't all the way up in the air, but I don't know if I can make that happen. Since it's cold, I really need to pull this lever. Oh, hey, it's gonna work. Usually it doesn't work when it's cold, but they're going down. So if I just impatient, I might get them down to a manageable area here. Let's stop with that. Let's also take with us our tool to put the, see if this hose clamp's any good. Let's just do that right away while we're thinking about it, because that's up under there where you won't see it and you'll forget. And I bet it's not gonna go like I want it to. What else is new? Because it's gonna be hard to get that back together. What I think I'm gonna do is try to start it out here, and then I'll slide it into position, if that makes sense to you. It should. However, getting to it is gonna be another issue. Yeah, see, I'm having trouble getting it started. There we go. There we go. I can just barely see what I'm trying to do. So I don't think I could really get you a very good view of it. There's just not a lot of room to work up under here. I wish they would have made it in some way where you could access things through the cab floor, but such is life. All right, next affair. Do we want to go easy or do we want to go hard? I kind of feel like I know that this one's probably going to go, and the reason I say that, if you pull up on it and move it around a little bit, you can see that this piece is moving on this shaft. So I feel like I'll get this one. However, the other side wasn't doing that, and that's, I don't know. Maybe I want to disconnect all the things, the stuff and the things at once, and then do both sides. You got to get the pin out of the cylinder, drop that down, then you got to get the snap ring off here. I don't know if I filmed that last time when I did it. See, it leaked after the fact because the oil level was way low, and I don't think that it had been checked for a long time. And so when I put oil in it, it started leaking. So anyway, that's where we're at here. I just went ahead and got them this time right away because I figured we'd do it instead of going back out and doing it a second time, you know. So it's amazing how there can just be enough little bit of garbage on everything to make you just so sad, you know. Oh boy. Okay, enough screwing around. I'm gonna look in the escape because I think that's where I left those, and I hope it is, because that'll make it easier. I'm not as dumb as you look. How about that? I did have it here. Now, it's probably still going to take a screwdriver to help, since that paint is pretty aggressive on there. Just go around, and these things will bust your teeth out, so you got to kind of watch. This style snap ring can really be violent. And it could also not work at all, you know. There's always that choice. That's... Yeah, it would be a lot better if we weren't freezing our Knutson loose. There we go. Just go around it like this. Not get into the washer. If you get into the washer, you went too far. See, that's what I didn't want to happen, because it's gone now. What luck I had, friends. So that's gone. So I guess I'll be getting a new one of those, because heck if I saw where that went. If I had a nice shop with a concrete floor, I probably would have found it back, but what great luck I have in my life. I guess it's okay though, because I gotta order those. Oh, here. All I had to do was threaten to get a new one, and then I found this one back. Crisis averted. I think they actually, instead of snap rings, I've always called these lock rings, but I don't know. You can call them whatever you want. Just don't call them late for supper. Okay. I don't know if you can appreciate what's happening or not, but one thing that's happening is I'm burning a lot of fossil fuels today, trying to keep myself warm. Okay. So, that fin is out. Maybe it would be better to hold it up there, but there ain't a lot in that regard. I guess I could put the pin back in. See if that... We can do that. That's gonna cause us problems though after a while. All right, so like I said, I'm fairly confident that that's gonna come off of there. I did learn last time though that I need to do something. I want to make some kind of mark, because I felt like last time I kind of guessed and I didn't like that. All right, let's try to get the other side that far, because like I said, I'm fairly certain I know what's about to take place, and it's going to be sadness. But we're no stranger to sadness here. We need to plug on and get this done. Then basically the only thing left back in the back is going to be to tighten the cab mounts, and that's just a matter of me getting the impact. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Okay. We'll take the little lock ring off of there. Try to get that pin pulled out of that cylinder. I think hanging down would have been the better thing to do, but with that other one, but whatever. They're just so heavy, and the way they're made, you can't really lighten them up a whole ton. If you take the I don't know about all this, it's got roll pins holding it in, so basically you could take this loose and that would save you the trouble of the arm. Maybe that would be worth it, I don't know. I've just been strong arming them the whole time because I figure it's not that big a deal. But here's hoping that the only reason that this is not moving is because it's just stuck on there so tight. Oh, look at that. That one was a lot better-ish. Now, I don't see no movement happening, and I don't like that. So we're gonna have to go through and clean this off a little bit, and probably give it some of the give it some of the miracle juice. Try to wash that trash out of there. And we're gonna give it another oh boys, I don't know. I need to get the orange hammer too, I think. What better to hit on an orange tractor than an orange hammer? It was kind of not too bad sitting out here a second ago, but now the wind's starting again. So let's see if we don't. That's gonna be a big problem. I'm afraid, friends. I'm afraid. Well, Knutson. That's just what I thought was going to happen. So now your choice would be, I think, that you could pull it all the way out one side, but we can't do that because of the wheels. So my next choice is going to be to just leave it alone and forget it, I think, for now. I mean, we should have also not hooked up our linkage again up there. That's gonna cause us some potential grief. So the only thing I can try to do now is I can try to put the snap ring back on this side And then what I'll do is try to stick a pry bar between that other side. But I don't think it's gonna work. I mean, I think we're pretty well done here. I should have just started on that other side, so. Well, that's back on there. All right, this is our only chance, is trying to pry against it maybe, and I don't think it's gonna go. Not even a little. Not even a little. So that really blows chunks, but what's a guy to do? I mean, I just don't think that there's any you don't want to break your housing now. See, if you sit too close, you get sucker punched in the face. That's what happens to me all the time. I just don't think it's in the cards here though, friends. I mean, it don't even want to try. So, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna call it on that one. I don't think I'm gonna pursue that. I gave it a try, but he's in a hurry for the thing back, and I don't think it was leaking very much, if at all, out of there. It probably is some, but he doesn't really use the 3-point on this one. He mainly just runs that feed wagon with it. So I think I'm gonna just cut my losses here. And I don't like to be that way, but I think that's the right thing to do for this customer. If he used it all day, every day, using the 3-point, then I would pursue this more. But I just feel like that's not the right thing to do in this case. I wish I could have done that for him, but it ain't in the cards. So where do we stand? Well, not where I wanted to be, but better than we were. I got everything back together back here, except for I need to tighten down those cab mounts. I gotta just grab the impact. I had to get that rubber. I had that put on there and then found the rubber thing laying on the ground, so gonna redo that right way. But then the whole back half should be good, other than a few little odds and ends like zip ties. So cab mounts, zip ties on the fuel line. I want to get it running, wash this out to see if there's anything else in there that's causing us grief, because it's very possible that there is. I mean, just look at it, it's nasty. And you got to pick a place to stop. I can't just keep going and spending all this money. That's just not the way I'm gonna go. I should, but I'm not, you know. So I'm gonna probably, I don't like these heater hoses. I think they're just nasty, and I don't know though if I'll do that. I'm gonna pick a place to stop. The parts I have left to change from my initial assessment are, I've got a valve cover gasket, I've got the turbo crossover hose up there on that tube, and I got the gasket for that tube in case we need it, because you got to take that off to get it out, if you recall. And then I think I've got a couple O-rings for the fittings on the hydraulic pump on the top. I think I might have them for all of them, but I think these top two are the ones I was thinking were making kind of a mess. So we can replace them all if we can get them out of there easy. This one may not be worth the effort if it's not leaking. But what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to do this, and then I'm going to have to run it again, wash it off again and run it again to see if I got it, because it's just such a mess back in there in places. I just don't know if I got enough of his leaks fixed or not. I think I have the gasket for behind here, because I thought that was leaking, and I got two new filters obviously. I probably will go ahead and put that gasket on, so that's something we can do. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's hard to say here's where we quit, because you want it to not be a problem for him, but at the same rate, I've had it way too long, and I need to get it back to him so he can get on the feed wagon, because that's what, I mean, he's been using his newer Kubota probably, but he likes this tractor for that, because that's what he grew up using, and I don't blame him. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Where does a guy quit, you know? I think we did a lot of good, what we've done so far, even though some of it was unscheduled, like these fuel lines. We didn't know that was going to happen. And some of you are going to say, well, why aren't you putting it back the way that it was then, since I told that story about that fuel thing? I don't think that it's going to have that problem anymore, because he keeps it in the heated shop at nighttime when he's feeding with it in the winter. So I think that the fuel gelling is a thing that probably isn't as much of a concern as it was back in the day. Also, our fuel has much better additives now than it used to, so I would say that, you know, a lot of that is going to be fine. So anyway, yeah, we just need to get it buttoned up and get to work. And the biggest thing now is going to be that valve cover, get that sealed up. But I almost want to take the hood off and wash that up first, because it's just so dirty. It just, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna take the hood off. I'll get that all back, the cab bolted down again, get her to where she's running, drive it up there and try to wash off as much crap of this engine as I can with the hood off. And then we'll finish up our project, because yeah, I mean, it's overwhelming to me. And then when people are in a hurry and I'm getting behind, and then it's winter time and it's miserable weather, and just everything kind of piles on, and I don't know what you say. What is the feeling? Overwhelmed. It's just too much, and then you don't feel like doing anything. So I got to plug on. No matter how miserable I feel about it, I got to plug on and get this done. And that's just how it's going to be. So yeah, I'm thinking just what I said. Bolt the cab down and get the hood off, take it up and power wash it, and then finish this, and then we should be done, because I can't do any more than that, you know. I've tried, but this is just never ending if you look at it too much. So we fixed the major things that I think were causing him problems, and then he'll just have to run it and see what else fails along the way and tackle that as we can. But this one isn't, I don't know how to describe it. This one has its own share of issues. I'm not so convinced about that turbo, that it's not got a hole in it or leaking, because it's pretty covered up there. That might become apparent when we get the hood off. But he's going to be aggravated at me finally for having it so long and doesn't keep finding things wrong with it. I don't want to be that way, but I also want it to work for him reliably. So yeah, I'm going to call this one here, because I've got well over an hour of footage, and you know, I think I accomplished some more on it. So we'll see. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.